House Speaker John Boehner says $33 billion in spending cuts is not a done deal, referring, of course, to Senate Democrats. So he's saying there's no guarantee to get $33 billion cut, yet you and your colleagues voted for nearly twice that and cut $61 billion. As head of the House Tea Party Caucus, is $33 billion or less a deal breaker for you?
Well, you know, the people that are here in Washington, D.C. today, affiliated with the Tea Party, we just came from a big rally of Tea Partiers, are saying, in their opinion, $61 billion shouldn't be the goal. That should be the starting point. So it's very good that we have people from the Tea Party, which are really average Americans, pressing the Congress, saying that $33 billion isn't enough, $61 billion isn't enough. To have pressure from the right is a very good thing, because I think that'll help us ultimately end on a very good number, a far better number than we would have had without that outside pressure.
Would you go along with $33 billion in cuts only?
Well, you know, what I'm going along with, Ashley, is to be able to have defunding of Obamacare. I cannot vote for a budget bill unless it has the defunding of Obamacare. That changes the arc of history. We're talking well over $1 trillion over a number of years, and this will literally break the bank in the United States. I think that needs to be defunded because, again, over the course of the last year, the American people have been very clear. Defund Obamacare. That will change the outcome more than what the particular dollar amount is.
All right, you mentioned defunding Obamacare. The bill you passed in the House would defund Obamacare and Planned Parenthood. The compromise they're trying to reach would not. Is that a deal breaker?
Yes, it is a deal breaker because, again, we need to defund some of these organizations. We worked very hard on this bill. We put 90 hours into it. I think it's high time that Republicans stand up for our position. Now is the time to fight, and the people who sent us here expect us to do that. Why should President Obama always get his way? The American people are not with President Obama. They're with us. They're not with Harry Reid and cowboy poetry festivals. They're with us. We're trying to be the adults in the room, and I think we need to go in and have this fight. It's a fair fight, and we need to have it.
All right, you mentioned the Tea Party Patriots rally. That's aimed at drawing attention to the need to make drastic cuts in spending. Do you believe the Republican leadership is serious about the mandate voters sent back on November 2nd?
I think they are serious. I think that's why you saw 90 hours worth of fighting on H.R. 1, which were all of the programs that we intend to defund. So what we need to do is get our financial house in order. We've already put a template out to do that, which would include defunding for Planned Parenthood, which would include defunding for Obamacare. We need to put that forward, and we need to make our case just as strongly as Harry Reid is making his.
Senate Democrats say their strategy is to drive a wedge between the Tea Party and Speaker Boehner. Is there any chance of that actually happening?
Well, actually, Harry Reid did us a favor. Between Harry Reid, Chuck Schumer, and Howard Dean, they let the cat out of the bag. And that's that the Democrats' political plan is to shut down government because they think they will benefit from doing that. So now we know that if government shuts down, it's not the Tea Party's fault, it's the Democrats' fault because they've made a decision. They're not interested in compromise. They just want to see the government shut down. I think it was really a blessing in disguise to find out that's what the Democrats want. They aren't interested in a practical solution, and I think people all across the United States are tired of political games, and we saw that from the comments that came from Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer.
Representative, will they be able to drive a wedge between John Boehner and the Tea Party?
No, I don't think so. Again, the Tea Party is doing a good thing. The Tea Party is saying, let's stand up for what we sent you to do. And the Tea Party put the gavel in John Boehner's hands. They aren't trying to go against John Boehner. They're just trying to hold the Republicans accountable. They also recognize that we can only do so much. But in the midst of this is exactly when we need our flank, called the Tea Party, to hold us up and help us to fight for the positions that we believe in.
Okay, on another matter, the New York Times says there are CIA operatives inside Libya, contrary to President Obama's assertion that there will be no boots on the ground there. You're on the House Intelligence Committee. How troubling is this?
Well, I am on the House Intelligence Committee, and of course, I'm unable to comment or confirm things that are in the press. I will tell you this about Libya. I oppose personally the move into Libya because Secretary Gates has stated it, first of all. He said Gaddafi posed no threat to the United States. Secretary Gates said that there is no vital national interest in Libya. And third, we have no idea who the opposition forces are. The UK Telegraph of London wrote that there are Al-Qaeda veterans Muslims who are part of the opposition forces. How could it possibly benefit the United States if we were somehow to help al-Qaeda in North Africa? We don't know if that's all that's involved, but again, without understanding who the opposition force is in, I think it was foolish to go in when we didn't have a clear, coherent strategy.
In 2007, then-candidate Obama said the president does not have the power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual or imminent threat to the nation. Does his actions on Libya qualify?
Well, the president has to eat his words. Quite clearly, the president is being a hypocrite in his actions compared to what his words were before in holding President Bush accountable. I think we've learned lessons from the Iraq conflict and Afghanistan, and I think a lot of those lessons have been lost on the president. Again, I think the president has reduced America's standing in the world, and he's certainly caused our economy to be reduced here in the United States. The president hasn't been good for America. He doesn't deserve to be reelected.
Are you going to run for president?
I'll be making my decision sometime in the early part of the summer because there's a straw poll in Iowa in August, and I think it's important for a candidate to be a part of that straw poll. If I do make that decision, then I will form an exploratory committee probably in the early part of summer.
Minnesota U.S. Representative Michele Bachmann, thanks so much as always.
Thank you, Ashley.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.